What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Quick video update, okay? So, guys, I need you guys to do your boy a favor. I need you guys to do a solid. I need you guys to subscribe to Everybody Hates Chris on Spotify. We got to get those subscription numbers up, okay? The more people are subscribed to my Spotify account, Everybody Hates Chris podcast, the more things I can unlock on this platform that I can utilize to the nation, to the Don Squad. Don Squad in the house, stand up. So do your boy a favor, do your boy solid. Go over, mosey over to Spotify, subscribe to me there, and you can still listen to me wherever you like listening to me, wherever you get your podcast indulgement from, either through Google Play, iTunes, wherever, okay? But please subscribe to me on Spotify. I'm up out of here. Let's get back into the show. Okay, so this next topic, we're going to have to walk on eggshells, and we have to use the word allegedly, possibility. We can't confirm nor deny. And we can't use names on this story I'm about to talk about. But when I saw this trending on social media, and when I saw the initial video, I thought it was a stage video. I didn't think it was real. And I just thought it was one of those type of videos that this model is trying to get some clout. And just made up this whole entire thing just to get clicks and views on social media. Well, come to find out, this has came to light, and now it's starting to pop all over social media, and particularly a lot of media outlets. But let me describe the video for you, because if you're listening to this podcast audio, or if you're watching it on YouTube, I won't be able to show the actual video. But anyway, the video showed a guy in a hoodie. You couldn't really see his face, but you can clearly tell this guy, he was tall. And it showed him and this girl in this hotel room. The girl is nude, and they was talking for a couple of seconds. Then the next thing you know, the guy in the hoodie starts running out of the hotel room, and the girl is chasing after him, and she is, naked. She has nothing on her, and she was chasing after him, but the guy, by the looks on how he was running, this guy you could tell this guy was kind of athletic, not, by his physique and the way how he was running. And and you hear a girl in the background. I guess she was recording the whole thing, and she went, "Oh my God," and he just ran off. Now, the lady that was holding the camera, she didn't follow them. She just stayed in the room. I don't understand why the door was open, and at the bottom of this video, the girl that was nude, posted this video saying that, allegedly, quote unquote, I can't use his name, but this NFL player ran off without paying for his services. Now, allegedly, we have to use the word allegedly, there was an agreement with this NFL player and this OnlyFans model that she was going to perform acts for this NFL player in a hotel room. And we all know what those acts are. And when the act is over with, the performance was over with. Notice how we have to, he was supposed to pay for this service. Now, The reason why I felt like this video was, let's bag it back some. So since then, since this was posted, you started seeing it started trending, and it really trended first on X, formerly known as Twitter. And people were in the comment section trying to figure out who was this person. And come to find out, someone gave us the dealio on who this actual person is. But when you go to his Twitter account, it's all his whole profile has been protected. If you you know, if you haven't been subscribed to him, if you haven't followed him, there's no one in the world you can message him, DM him, or message him with any of behind any of his other tweets. I'm pretty sure if you start to subscribe to him now, he's not going to accept your request because he knows you're going to be trolling. And now I read the article, and the article says that not only he did that on his X, formerly known Twitter account, he has also done this on his other social media platforms. Okay, so if you want to connect the dots, why? Okay, the video comes out, and when the video comes out and you find out who it is, you go to his page, and his page is private. Everything is private once this video was released. And once again, we have to use the word allegedly. We can't say without a shadow of a doubt it was him. It would have been great if the person who was recording this, documenting this, was following them, and you could have gotten a glimpse of his face or something. Okay, this ain't Bobby V when he was trying to perform acts on this transgender woman, and he didn't want to pay, and he was hiding his face through a t-shirt with a bunch of holes in it, and you could clearly see his face. It wasn't that type of situation. And it wasn't the situation with Zion Williams, when Zion Williams was denying that he was messing around with this woman. Come to find out, she's got pictures and everything, and everybody started to roast Zion Williams. So it's none of them type of situations. But it's kind of curious, and it's kind of odd that on the day that this video was released, and when you find out who it could be, and when you go to his social media handles or his social media platforms, everything has been private. So you will have to connect the dots yourself. Okay. You would definitely have to connect the dots. So here's my thing. I got a lot of questions, and and when she posted this on X, she linked it to everybody. She linked it to the NFL. She linked it to this guy's coach. She sent this to their team, to his team. Even sent it to him. I think this is going to blow up, particularly on a slow news day when, the NBA Finals is over with. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. The Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese saga, I think that's kind of cooling off, particularly when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are cool with the foul. So, I guess everyone is gravitating to, okay, it's just a basketball play. But me personally, it wasn't a basketball play. I talked about it on my sports channel, Just My Opinion podcast, shameless plug. And there's really nothing else to talk about. The NBA Finals are over with. The NHL it's about to wrap up, and there's really nothing major on that front. And the NHL is not a casual sport. You have to be a real hardcore fan to appreciate the NHL. And nothing really happening on the college front. If you want to, the XFL, other than the games, that's pretty much it. And that really don't take the social media until the actual games are played. And, I saw this a couple of days ago. All right. And I didn't see it grow any type of traction or anything like that. That's why I said to myself, this is a big skit. This is, this girl obviously trying to chase clout. And that's why I was under the assumption of, hey, this is a skit. Voice getting torched. This is a skit and this is not real. This can't be real. But now, since I'm slowly but surely, you're starting to see it on some articles on social media. And a lot of media personalities are talking about it. Because, and it's starting to catch wind and starting to catch wildfire. And now more people are talking about it. Now, I don't know if Fox Sports 1 has talked about it yet. I don't know if Stephen A. Smith has talked about it. Well, the big popular, like Colin Cowherd, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith. I don't think any of those outlets all those personalities have talked about it. But this thing, if it blows up, we're all going to say, we're all going to say Zion Williams who. I know somewhere in this world, Zion Williams saying he's praying, saying, please let this blow up so people can stop talking about me and that corn star that I was associated with. I know Cal Asante is saying to himself, please let this blow up so people can stop talking about me paying for box with that, and she wasn't even a major corn star. And, allegedly he paid for her services. And after she performed the services, he didn't give what he claimed he gave her. But, he says he didn't give her the money. She says that he did. And she's showing the actual receipt, whatever. But if this is going to be the new thing. And this is not good for men out there who are paying for box. This is not good for men out there who are known to be simps. And this is just going to be one more story that, a lot of these rookies from the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, collegiate sports, this is going to be something that's going to be talked about over and over and over. Don't be like this guy. Okay. So, yeah. To me, a couple of days ago, I didn't think this was real. And now this starting to blaze a little bit. It's starting to heat a little bit. Now, here are my questions. All right. First and foremost, what woman is going to perform their acts and not get their money first? I have never heard that before in my life. I have never heard of any woman in, I don't care if you're an OnlyFans model or if you are a worker, an ex-worker, or you are a corn star or a street performer, whatever. However you want to label yourself. I have never heard of a woman doing her services, and when the services are over with, they didn't get their money. I mean, or at least get half of their money. Okay. Have never heard of that before in my life. Two, why did he skip not paying her? Which, by the way, real fast, real quick, when you go to his Twitter, what X formerly known as Twitter, when you go to his account, he got in the description. Why do everyone have all of these God, this God plan messages and God talk and holier than thou and a religious person and all this stuff? But when you see them in real life, they don't represent what they are in their bio on their social media platforms. I don't get that. I don't know why people do that, but that's neither here nor there. Let's just get into this topic. So yeah, I'm curious of wondering why she took the route of, I'm just going to do my performance, and then at the end of my performance, I'm going to get my money. Now, is this the norm? Because to me, I'm on the outside looking in. I ain't gonna lie, I, have went that route a couple of times before. And every time I went that way, a couple of times in my life, I have always paid them first before the act. Okay. Now I'm not paying like, 5,000 or 1,000 or 500. I'm not doing all that. There's limits. I think the most I have ever paid was maybe $100. That's many moons ago. Okay. But I've never been in the era where now the box is like, there's chicks out there that's, doing 1,000 a performance, doing 5,000. And I'm sorry, I love the box. You love the box. Everybody loves the box. But there's a cap on the box. And to me, the salary cap on box, I'm not paying that much for that type of box. Okay. And I understand how these situations go. I'm pretty sure that she was, thirst trapping on social media, and he saw it on his timeline, and he DM'd her, and I'm pretty sure the conversation went as the following. How much? She said her price. He tried to get her to come down on it. She said no. So either he paid for what she wanted, or they negotiated something to the point where they are in a room. And I wasn't in the room. He didn't come talk to me about it. He may, let's just say hypothetically, he may had intentions on paying for it. And this could have went left so many different ways. Maybe they negotiated, they hammered into some type of price. They go into the room, they're going to do it for this price, and they're haggling more. And he may wanted to do a little bit more. He wanted a little bit more sauce on this performance. And she said it's going to cost him this. They're still haggling. They do it anyway. And, they're not getting their quotes together. And then after the performance, they have a disagreement on payment. And it went left and he just broke off. Okay. Or he had every intention of doing the performance and skipping out on her and not paying her a dime. Okay. Or they haggled onto a price. It's probably a price that she didn't want to go for, but she went along with it anyway. The performance is over, and now she's going back to her original price, trying to get that price. And he's saying, no, we said that we was going to go down on this. And she probably threatened him saying, well, I'm going to expose you on social media. And if you don't give me this price or more money, everybody's going to know your business. And he just bolted out. Which, why the door was open in the first place? The girl that was holding the camera, she was in front of the door. I don't understand why. And I don't understand why she had the door open anyway. But that's neither here nor there. I wasn't in the room. And there's some scamming on both sides of the fence when you're talking about the buyer and when you talk about the performer. We'll just say the performer. There are a lot of people that there's a lot of women or guys pretending to be these women that message guys to cash app them money, and just give me the money now and I'll tell you where we're going to meet up at. A lot of guys fall for that hook, line, and sinker. There was this one thing, and I think Miss B Nasty talked about it, where someone was posing to be her and told the guy that if you give me $100, we can do some car performance. And the guy went for it, gave the woman or gave the guy the money through Cash App, and Miss B Nasty wasn't even there. All right. And Miss B Nasty talked about it. She said, look, when have I ever promoted doing $100? $100 to B Nasty is nothing. Sometimes you have to check the temperature in the room. You have to be a little bit smarter than that. Somebody as internationally known as B Nasty doing $100 for car performances is just crazy in itself. All right. So, and I'm not saying that that's what happened between these two right here, but obviously, this story is either going to be handled one or two ways. Either it's going to blow up like wildfire and it's going to be trending on social media. I don't know if this dude has a wife or a girlfriend, but he's got a lot of explaining to do with his wife or girlfriend. And then he's got a lot of explaining to do with the team that he's on and the coaching staff and the front office. And then maybe the NFL might get involved. But the guy, you couldn't see the guy's face, and you don't know for a fact that was the guy. We're sure about it. And the way how he's acting on social media makes you allude to maybe that's him. All right. But yeah, that was a crazy story. And like I said, I don't know what happened in that room. I know one thing, obviously there was a huge disagreement on something, and I think it was the payment, or she may have threatened to expose him on social media, or he may threaten her. I don't know. Nobody was in the room. But yeah, that was crazy and bizarre. But you know what? It is what it is. So let's take a quick commercial break, and we're going to get into the next topic. What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. Quick video update, okay? So, guys, I need you guys to do your boy a favor. I need you guys to do a solid. I need you guys to subscribe to Everybody Hates Chris on Spotify. We got to get those subscription numbers up, okay? The more people are subscribed to my Spotify account, Everybody Hates Chris podcast, the more things I can unlock on this platform that I can utilize to the nation, to the Don Squad. Don Squad in the house, stand up. So do your boy a favor, do your boy solid. Mosey over to Spotify, subscribe to me there, and you can still listen to me wherever you like listening to me, wherever you get your podcast indulgence from. either through Google Play, iTunes, wherever, okay? But please subscribe to me on Spotify. I'm up out of here. Let's get back into the show. Okay, final topic. I was go check out Bag Fuel. Bag Fuel has Heineken and I forgot the other guy's name. They were former members of my expert opinion podcast with Mav Hoffa, EXO, and Heineken. And I don't occasionally see their podcast. I check out the clips, but I don't look at the long portion of it. And sometimes, to me, I don't listen to the drama. Obviously, EXO and Heineken still has hostilities over Mav Hoffa and how Mav Hoffa treated them. And that's another time for another story. And I don't watch them for the drama, even though they get their most views from the drama. But when they actually, have someone over there and sit down with them and talk to them about, the music biz, I pay close attention to. And Mandy, who had a podcast called The Thing Is podcast with Bridget Kelly. She talked about that and, how they're no longer doing that podcast no more. And then she also had the podcast called Horrible Decision podcast, and she talked about that situation with that podcast, particularly on YouTube. She started talking about how podcasting that's not the lane no more, and she talked about how if you don't have a deal, you're not making money on these podcasts, okay? And she broke it down. Unless you are affiliated with an iTunes or Spotify where you're going to exclusively have your podcast on those platforms, that's one way of making money. And that market is oversaturated. Spotify is not giving the bag to everybody. They're only giving the bag to the Joe Rogans or the Michelle Obamas or that the Prince and I forgot his wife, and they was in the news talking about they're not even on their podcast all the time. Meghan Markle, okay, yeah, she talked about how if you have those type of names, then you're going to always get the bag. Or, or DJ Academics, okay? Or if you are affiliated with DraftKings or those betting site, betting site services, you can get a bag that way as well. Or if you brand or link up with liquor companies or anything, if you got a brand, I mean, if a brand wants to have an ad splashed all over your podcast and all over your episodes, that's another way. But she's talking about how if you just do podcasting with no brand, no backing, you're not doing any exclusive deals with Spotify or iTunes or anything like that, you're not making a lot of money on it, okay? First and foremost, iTunes and Spotify is only going to give you so much per listener. So if you solely depend on your listenership, you're not going to make money that way. Now, she talked about something very ingenious that I been telling. I knew this, how most podcasts, they will try to get their money both ways. Whatever money they get from iTunes and Spotify through the listening audience, that's one way. And another way is uploading those episodes on a YouTube channel. But even YouTube has been tripping with how much money that they give to content creators. You just can't just quit your job and just do YouTube. YouTube, it's very hard to live off of YouTube. So if you don't have a side hustle or something or a job on the side, you're struggling. All right. Now, she talked about how Joe Budden doesn't have a major deal. But I will say this about Joe Budden. He was always on this tip about how the podcast industry, and they consider Joe Budden the pod father because, people believe that he created podcasting. I think Joe Budden made podcasting cool because before Joe Budden, there was always podcasts, but, it just didn't gravitate to the cool ones. And when Joe Budden found a lane in it, because, at that time, y'all got to realize Joe Budden was trying to figure himself out. Obviously, music-wise, as a rapper, he couldn't hold that bag much longer. He tried DJing at radio stations. That didn't work. He tried reality TV. That really didn't work. But what stuck with him is he always had a YouTube channel and always, he was always doing content. And, he was particularly in the urban, hip hop and in the urban community, he was really the only one that was pushing this podcast thing. Okay. But Joe Budden has always been 2 steps ahead of everyone. And now he's making it fashionable. Like, if you want to listen to the podcast earlier, you can subscribe to their subscription program where you get the podcast 3 or 4 days earlier than anyone else. And he has also linked in other things of that nature. I don't know why this computer is making this noise, but I can't lower the volume. It just keeps going boop, 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 like it's anyway. So we're just gonna keep moving it along. All right. So Joe, she talked about how Joe Budden doesn't have a major deal, but Joe Budden is in essence still making money from podcasting. It may not be directly through podcasting, but Joe Budden is still making money. Okay. But Mandy talked about, hey, podcasting, it's the podcast landscape money wise, as far, is drying up. That hole is drying up. So if you don't have other things around you with your podcast, you're not going to survive. And she's right to an extent. She's right to an extent. I co-sign a lot of stuff that she's saying. And I always told you guys, I feel like podcasting, and I was first on saying this years ago, that podcast is oversaturated. I feel like everybody has a podcast now. It wasn't like that 8 years ago. 8 years ago, it was only a few people that was interested in doing podcasting. Now everybody's got a podcast show. You got a podcast show. She's got a podcast show. Your mama got a podcast show. Your grandmama has a podcast show. Your uncle has a podcast show. Everybody has a podcast. She talked about Club Shay Shay and $1 Million Worth of Game and Joe Budden. How podcasting, even though you're getting the listenership, and even though people are subscribing to your YouTube channel and watching your episodes, you can't base all of that and say, okay, I'm living good. And I said this on my YouTube channel, shameless plug again, Just My Opinion Podcast, my sports channel. And I talked about Shannon Sharp's new deal with ESPN. And I always told you guys that this was ultimately the major play. Everyone was fooled with the popularity of Club Shay Shay, the Cat Williams episode. Everyone was fooled on him talking about he wants to collaborate with the Volume, That's Colin Cowherd's digital platform. Everybody was kind of fooled by the smoke and mirrors, but I always knew Shannon Sharp, the undertones of what he was saying was he wants to get back to network because the bag is bigger in network than will ever be in podcasting. The bag is bigger in networking than it will ever be on YouTube. Yeah, he's making money doing podcasting with the volume, the nightcap, Club Shay Shay, YouTube channel. Yeah, he's making money on those outlets and he's getting popularity on those outlets. But the bigger bag is the mega deal that he's getting ready to sign with ESPN. And that was the play all along. And I kept telling people that, but no one wouldn't believe me. And it is what it is. Okay? I do agree with Mandy in her line of thinking. I feel like as far as if you solely want to do just podcasting and podcasting only, it's an uphill. It's like skating uphill. You know, uh, there's a lot of shows that you see the viewership, you see the listenership, and you say to yourself, man, they got to be doing good. They're getting like 30K an episode. They're getting 100K an episode on YouTube. They're getting 100,000K in listenership. So they should be eating good. But sometimes the numbers can fool you. And Spotify and iTunes, you don't make a lot of money porting your audio portion of your podcast on Spotify and iTunes. Those are the biggest platforms anyway. And you don't make a lot of money on YouTube. You make some money, but you don't make a lot of money on YouTube. All right. I'm not to say not what I just said doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You should do it, but you make the bulk of your money with partnerships, like DraftKings. But there's a lot of people like you and I and Mandy that are not going to get those deals. Okay. But you still can do Patreon. It takes a lot of work promoting. Patreon is an outlet where people could, if you want to, your Patreon audience, if they want to listen to the podcast first. You can make money in your podcast, your listenership, your fan base. You can make money off them. How much money depends on how large your fan base is. Even Mandy said that, and she alluded to it. But the podcast, just solely doing podcasts, it's an uphill. I feel like there's only like a few people that can do that. Michelle and the Obamas, they can do that. The Jay-Z's and Beyonce's, if they want to do podcasting, they can do that. LeBron can do that. Meghan Markle, she can do that. Joe Rogan, he can do that. Joe Budden, to a certain extent, possibly, he can do that. But there's not a lot of people that can demand that, that type of bag. Okay, the Shannon Sharp, he can do that. Maybe the Stephen A. Smith, maybe Stephen A. Smith. But it's only a handful of people out there that those big corporations want to do business with. And, it is what it is. But it was something I wanted to talk about and touch on. And it also shows the dynamic of the landscape of podcasting. I think podcasting is oversaturated. Just like being a YouTuber is oversaturated. Just like doing live streams on Twitch or I forgot the other app. It's oversaturated. OnlyFans is oversaturated. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can go that are oversaturated. To me, if you're a content creator and you want to get paid as a content creator, these new, I think you should keep your ear close to the ground on a lot of these new apps, threads. If you got a thread account, uh, thread is not as big as Twitter. And if you was a content creator, I would be using threads. I would be making threads religiously. I would make content for threads. I would advertise my products on threads. I would advertise my other links and things of that nature on threads and just get it pumping and get it moving. But there are a lot of up and coming websites and apps that are not popular yet that if you're a content creator, you better hurry up and jump on. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on that. Guys, tell me in the comment section what you think about today's show. I like to thank everyone in support of this show. I like to thank, my day ones on my audio portion of this show, as well as my YouTube channel. I like to thank both of y'all from the bottom of my heart. I like to thank my new subscribers, either from my podcast or from YouTube. I like to appreciate you guys. I feel like I'm abandoning my graveyard shift crew that will come in occasionally for the live portion of Too Early for This podcast. Hey, an end of an era. So no more live on YouTube. I'm sorry about that to my graveyard shift crew. I'm sorry about the early morning people that just wake up to start their day listening to these podcasts. But it is what it is. So I like to thank everybody who's been very supportive of me, of my podcast, who continue to listen to my podcast no matter how many new names I change it. I can't make no promises, but I feel like this is going to be a solid name that I'm going to keep. And hopefully no more changes. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I got for today. Wednesday, hump day, this podcast that I'm recording will be live in effect Wednesday. And the re-air of this podcast will be to my YouTube audience. And that will be either, I'm going to say it's Friday. Let's just go ahead and shoot for Friday. Okay. So it's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I really do appreciate everyone following me on this journey. I will see you soon. I'm up out of here. One outro, and I'm gone. Deuce. Okay, so the next topic is Iman Shumpert. I don't know if he took to social media to say this, but social media is now reporting that Iman Shumpert said that in an interview, or maybe, they caught him somewhere and he talked about it, that he thinks that his former wife, Tiana Taylor, he believes that she should, since she makes more money than him, therefore, she should pay for child support. And, they elaborated further about it. And to me, this, if you've been living under a rock, allow your boy to explain. Iman Shumpert and Tiana Taylor, they were married at one point of time. They have kids. If you don't know who Iman Shumpert is, he used to play in the NBA, used to play alongside LeBron James. I think he played I think he was in the same time frame as when Kobe was playing. I'm not 100% sure about that. And has bounced around in the league, has made money in the NBA. He wasn't the best NBA player. When I mean the best, he wasn't in the top 5. He wasn't in the top 10. Okay. Didn't have a lot of endorsement deals. He wasn't that upper tier NBA player. And I'm not saying you have to be an upper tier NBA player to make a lot of money. And he has made some money. But now, he's no longer in the NBA. He's been out of the NBA for many moons. I think he does podcasting. He does some social media. I don't think the social media and the podcasting, he's making a huge chunk of money, but he's making money here and there. When you look at Teyana Taylor, on the other hand, she's making money on social media. She's also a singer. She's a model. She's also an actress. She's been in several movies. And she's also in a movie with oh my God, DiCaprio, whoever's the guy who was in Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, I think I mispronounced his last name, but you guys know I butchered people's names on a constant, consistent basis. All right, so that's what the social media is trending on social media. And you got people on both sides of the fence, male and female, saying that I don't think it's right that she has to pay for child support. It's not her fault that he couldn't handle his finances or he's no longer making money. He's the man. He should have child support on. Like, people feel like child support is mutually only for the man. Now, in child support cases, a lot of men are paying for child support because you know why? Because in the marketplace, men make more money than women on average. But when you look at Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, they're not the average American couple. Now, they both express of having an open relationship, inviting other women in their bedroom. And Iman enjoyed the fruits of that the fruits of that labor, as well as Teyana Taylor. Allegedly, Teyana Taylor, that's how she swings. Allegedly, we're just going to use the word allegedly because we're not in people's bedrooms, okay? And I'm not saying that their marriage failed because they had an open relationship. Now, a lot of people are trying to connect the dots and say, okay, well, this is what happens when you don't have a traditional relationship. Folks, the national divorce rate is through the roof. And now more than ever, people are no longer getting married anymore. Marriage is failing for a lot of major reasons that we're not going to diverge in. But the one thing you cannot say is because it's open. Okay? Did it contribute? Maybe. But it was the significant reason why Iman Shumpert and Teyana Taylor are no longer together? No. I feel like the biggest thing why they're no longer together is because they had no problems when he was in the NBA, when he was making all this money. They had no problem when she was on the back burner. She was, a jack of all trades, but not a master of none, And we talked about how Iman Shumpert wasn't a top 5 NBA player because his talent didn't afford him to be that. Let's be real. Let's talk about Teyana Taylor. She's not a household name. If Teyana Taylor walks downtown, no one's going to know who Teyana Taylor is unless you're a Teyana Taylor fan. And how many people can honestly say, sorry about the noise in the background, I hate when they do that. How many people can honestly say they're a diehard Teyana Taylor fan? Not that many. And the only reason Iman Shumpert is going to be noticed because he's tall. And the first thing people want to say, man, you're tall. You should have played basketball. That's how the conversation goes. And then he'll go, oh, I'm Iman Shumpert. Then people start connecting the dots. Fellas, how many times you go downtown, you see a beautiful woman, and you walk up to her and go, wow, you're amazing. You're so beautiful. You should have been a model. I mean, that conversation is not going to start off, one, because there's a lot of beautiful women that don't want to be approached that way. It's just weird to me, the differences between men and women. If a man is tall, a man is okay for someone else, a male or female, walk up to him and say, man, you're so tall, you should have played basketball. And a man can engage in that conversation. However, when you talk about a woman and you see a random woman, and she's beautiful, you walk up to him and go, wow, you're so beautiful, you're so stunning, you should have been a model. It's not going to strike off as no conversation. She's going to look at him or look at that person as being weird, and she's going to walk away. Okay, more times than not. Okay, I'm not saying every woman. Now, there are a few women that can handle that situation and go, oh, thank you. And then that's when they start off into a conversation of, yes, I'm a model, or, whatever. Okay. But back to this topic, the point I'm getting at, when he was making his money and she was trying to find her way, and they had this open relationship and they had the kids, everything was fine. The sky was the limit, so to say. And now, since he's been in retirement, those NBA checks are few and far between. He's trying to find his way as a podcaster, as a social media influencer, the same way she was, trying to find her way. And now her star has risen in popularity. She's now more popular than her husband. Now all of a sudden there's problems. Well, I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this marriage. And that's what happens. I feel like, I'm not saying it's solely her reason why they're no longer together. I feel like it takes two to get together. It takes two to break up. I think when he was the breadwinner and he was the popular one, he didn't care about none of that stuff. But when you look at Tiana Taylor obviously cares about being a celebrity and being popular and things of that nature. And I think Tiana Taylor is beautiful. People underestimate her value she is a stunning, gorgeous woman. And the reason why I say she's stunning and beautiful is because Tiana Taylor has multiple different faces. And she started the trend of the why you mad face. That's like you ticking me off. She makes the face of you ticking me off face, and she makes that stunning and beautiful. Or when she's mad or acting like she's mad, when she scrunches her face, she pulls that off. Most women cannot do that. A beautiful woman, there's not a lot of beautiful women that can pull that feature off. Tiana Taylor has made a household name of that. Okay, so everyone underestimates her beauty, and people underestimate what she brings into the beauty world. Okay, and there's not a lot of women that can pull off the short haircut. I've seen a lot of women with long haircut, with long hair get short hair. It's cute, but it's not the same as when they had their long hair. Tiana Taylor can pull off the short cut, the long cut. She was a chameleon with that. And she's in the same breath and in the same realm as Halle Berry. Halle Berry had the long hair, but she looks good with the long hair, but she also looked good with the short hair. Toni Braxton looked great with the long hair, looks beautiful with the short hair. She can rock it either way. Either way, they can rock it. Okay. But that's not what this story is about. And to me, whoever makes the most money does have to pay the most child support. Does have to pay child support. It doesn't matter if it's a male or a female. If a CEO who happens to be a female gets pregnant by some bum who's a bus driver, or just a bum, or a bus. I shouldn't say bum and bus driver. Let's just say a bus driver, and he gets her pregnant. Who do you think is going to get child support? Obviously, it's going to be him. If a female CEO gets a bum pregnant, if a bum gets a CEO pregnant, who do you think is going to get child support? It's going to be the bum. Okay? That's why you got to be careful who you put your seed in. Okay? The same can be said about Rick Ross. Rick Ross is celebrating the fact that he's no longer on child support. And congratulations, 50 Cent done this. Rick Ross has done this too, that announced to the world that they're no longer on child support. And their baby mamas, that's their final check, and life goes on with them. Now, I think her name is Tiana, I think Trump. I don't really, follow her. She does TikTok lives and things of that nature. And then she voiced her opinion about that announcement. Wasn't, and, look, it's content to her. Anything that Rick Ross talks about, she wants to associate herself with whatever Rick Ross is talking about. And, as long as Rick Ross is popular, she's going to have something to talk about. Okay. And, whenever I see her and then I look at Rick Ross and I look back at her, I say to myself, you gotta be careful who you put your seed in. Okay. You mean you couldn't tell with 20 minutes of meeting her that she wasn't going to turn out the way she was going to ultimately turn out? Some people have so much, you can clearly tell that when they were together, it had nothing to do with love. It was just the fact that he provided something that she couldn't get from any other guy that was, trying to talk to her. And she knew that Rick Ross was going to amass into something. Now, I don't think she knew that he was going to be this large and this big, okay? But I do feel like she knew that, okay, this guy's got potential. He's going to do something, and he can hustle, okay? And she latched on to that. So she was in it for support. She needed someone to support her. And now they're no longer they're no longer together. She's still anchoring onto him because that's how she's making her content and that's how she makes her money. I hope when she was getting all these child support checks, I hope she was saving them up. I hope she wasn't splurging, and I hope she was thinking about, okay, big picture. Okay, this is not going to be forever with the child support, so I need to figure out other ways to funnel money to me. I don't know how good she is as a podcaster, and we're going to talk on the next segment about podcasting. But yeah, doing something that, because if you don't have a backup plan, you're on top of the world, and in the next situation, you're going to be flipping burgers for Burger King. I don't think she's going to ever flip burgers for Burger King. But you have to have a backup plan. So, that's it on that topic. Let me take a real quick break and we're going to get into the next topic. Okay. Okay, so we're at the end of the show. I first like to thank everyone who listened to this episode. I really do appreciate that. I like to thank everyone who is sharing my podcast as well as my episodes No matter if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast indulgent from, I like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Don Squad in the house, stand up, fam. All right. And I also like to thank everyone who has trickled over to Spotify and subscribing to me there. All right. And I talk to you, say this briefly. I need my subscription numbers up on Spotify so I can unlock different things and apply those savings to you guys as far as building a better podcast, as far as getting more listeners to listen to my podcast. Get at me on Twitter at I'm Christadon1. DM me or tweet me what you thought about today's episode or any episodes, and get at me and tell me what do you want me to talk about. All right, basically. All right, so that's all I got for today's show. I'm here every Wednesday, every hump day. So check me out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.